Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next hour. Massive 7.1 earthquake hits Nepal and Tibet. Death toll exceeds 30. Tremors felt in parts of India and Bangladesh. Slumping polls and waning support in party make Justin Trudeau announce resignation after more than 9 years in power to leave office after party chooses new leader.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader.
Huge winter storm in the east coast of the US upends normal life. Over 330,000 homes and businesses without power. Air travel crippled across the nation. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro slams US for welcoming opposition leader Gonzalez, says Biden was backing a violent project to usurp the country's democracy. Well, on to the big story. A massive 7.1 magnitude earthquake struck Nepal-Tibet border early on Tuesday, killing at least 32 people and shaking buildings across India and Bangladesh. The quake's epicenter was located approximately 91 kilometers from Lombok in Nepal, and it was followed by numerous aftershocks with magnitudes of up to 4.4. An earthquake of this magnitude is considered strong and is capable of causing severe damage. Emergency response teams in Nepal and India are on high alert to assess the impact of the earthquake. Officials are closely monitoring the situation and have urged citizens to remain calm and prepared for the possible aftershocks. Well, as we told you, a massive 7.1 magnitude earthquake had struck Nepal-Tibet border today morning, killing at least 32 people and shaking buildings across India and Bangladesh. And the quake's epicenter is known to be located approximately 91 kilometers from Lombok in Nepal, and it was followed by numerous aftershocks with magnitudes of up to 4.4, and there's a warning of aftershocks even now. And an earthquake of this magnitude can cause severe damage. In fact, emergency response teams in Nepal and India are right now on high alert to assess the impact of the earthquake. And for more, DD India's Shweta Singh joins us from Nepal, and Salman Haider also joins us from Bihar. Well, Shweta, as we know, a massive earthquake struck Nepal-Tibet border today morning. The epicenter is known to be in Tibet somewhere. Can you brace us with more details?
Yes, actually, epicenter is in Tibet, Dingi County. That's closer to Nepal's border, Lubuche. 7.1 Richter scale of earthquake was reported, and here in Kathmandu it was really the high intensity. We felt the earthquake high intensity here, so people were running out of their houses, and even in the earthquake resistant building, as I'm living in that such building, here also in spite of that we felt strong intensity of tremor. Had severe headache and nausea. We nauseated a lot. Most of my colleagues here nauseated. So this was really high intensity. But when we talked to locals in Solukhumbu, so they informed that there is no such casualty in Solukhumbu in Saleri Bazar. So people have not received much of casualty in that area. As such, now we have not reported any casualty. People are safe. If further report we get, we will be sharing it.
All right. Also, Salman, big earthquake in Tibet, of course, and the tremors have been felt in Bihar too. Can you tell us more on that from there? Salman, there is an audio problem right now with your voice. Let me come back to you, Shweta. How big was the impact there? And there has been an alert on aftershocks also. What's the latest there?
Yes, actually, even PM Oli have given suggestion to people to be on high alert. Officials are on alert. But as such, as I informed, casualties have not been reported yet here in Kathmandu. But you see the shocks and tremors were so strong in Okladunga, Solokhumbu, in Kathmandu, and many other places, even in Tarai and Bhojpur. Here in Nepal, even Bhojpur and Tarai received intense tremor. So we are getting information from all over Nepal, most of the till Bhagwati and Gandaki also, that slight tremor was received that far. And people are now sharing slowly and steadily as the sun is rising. Everybody is sharing their experience of the morning tremor. So,
yeah, Shweta, but as of now, do you know of any structural impact or landslides which have been reported till now?
As I informed, we talked, we got information from Saleri Bazar in Solokhumbu, that is bordering the epicenter in Tibet itself. From there, they have reported no casualty, no damage as such. So if such a close hilly area near Tibet, Solokhumbu, they have not reported, but from other places yet in Nepal, we have not received any casualty or any damage to structure or landslide have not been reported. Maybe slowly and steadily as people start moving, going out, talking to other people, information will flow in. But till now, there is nothing as such. From Saleri Bazar, that is it's the Solokhumbu headquarters of Solokhumbu, bordering Tibet, they have informed there is no damage.
All right. Shweta, also, have you felt any aftershocks as has been alerted?
Actually, in the morning, because I had to get up in the morning and cook breakfast and lunch for my kids to school, there, in fact, it was severe nauseating effect, vomiting and headache. I didn't realize it is because of earthquake. And once I felt again, it was in 7:50 and then slightly after 5 minutes again. But I didn't expect earthquake causing this impact. I think aftershocks, other people have also felt, even I have felt, and maybe after some time again, because it was a huge energy, 7.1 Richter, that's aftershock is ought to come. If once or twice we have felt, maybe coming days we will definitely have more of aftershocks. I think reports we will be getting in coming days of aftershocks.
Right, Shweta. As you said, it was of course it was early morning, and at that time most of the people were sleeping or everybody was at their homes. What's the reaction there of the people?
In fact, people here, you see, everybody is exchanging, sharing their experiences. I was doing this happened, I ran out of house. People actually really ran out of their houses who realized it is earthquake. Who didn't realize it is earthquake, they, like me, I thought it is some medical issue with me. But later on, I realized, no, this is earthquake. So people are sharing their experiences now. And damage as such, there is no as such damage reported right now. Maybe slowly and steadily people realize that the door has been damaged, the structural building has been damaged. But by now, we have not received any report of pure damage.
All right, Shweta, thank you so much for all those details from there. And now DD India's Naval Singh Parmar is joining us from Bangladesh for more on the earthquake. Well, Naval Singh, what was the impact of the earthquake in Dhaka and as it felt in different parts of the country too?
In Dhaka, at around 7:05 morning, according to local times, the tremors were felt in Dhaka and other parts of Bangladesh. According to the Bangladesh Meteorological Department Seismological Center here in Dhaka, it was around 4.9 magnitude tremor or quake felt in Dhaka, but there is no report of any loss to property or life in Dhaka as well as in other parts of Bangladesh. But definitely it was felt here in Dhaka. Since the epicenter of the earthquake was around 618 kilometer northwest from Dhaka, so it is quite long distance between the epicenter and Dhaka. But the northern part of Bangladesh, particularly the Rangpur division of Bangladesh, which is quite close to the Siliguri corridor of India and the epicenter of earthquake. So there might be the intensity of the quake felt maybe little bit more.
All right, Naval Singh, also a warning has been issued for the aftershocks. Any precautions being taken there or any aftershocks felt after the main shock?
Yes, the BMD here also issued a warning about the aftershock, and due precaution need to be taken care by the citizens as well as the civic administration. Also asked to be prepared for any such kind of development in Bangladesh.
All right, Naval Singh, thank you so much for all those details from Dhaka. And still to come on DD India News Hour. US Congress certifies Donald Trump's 2024 election win, even as he faces a setback as judge rejects request to delay hush money sentencing. South Korean investigators await new arrest warrant for impeached President Yoon Suk Yeol amid martial law controversy. And Secretary of State Antony Blinken says US-Japan ties rock solid despite rift over steel deal.
Goa, a wild nature paradise, where over a third of the state remains wild today, and every corner is full of surprises. Goa's forests evolve through the seasons. Insects and crocodiles flourish in the monsoon, butterflies in the months after the rains subside, and in the winter, the jungle transforms into a haven for birds. Oh, there's a female right next to him. Oh my God, is that 8 otters? That's one of my favorite things about these forests. There are still so many secrets out there. Watch Postcards from Goa on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lepakshi Khurana, and moving on, after 9 years in power, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation on Monday. However, he will remain in position as Prime Minister and Liberal Party head until the party chooses a new leader to take it into the next election.
Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation on Monday, saying he would leave office as soon as his party chooses a new leader, with slumping polls and internal division taking their toll. After more than 9 years in power, Trudeau's support within the ruling Liberal Party began crumbling in 2024 due to intensifying public criticism focused on the rising cost of living. A subdued Trudeau told a press conference that he would stay as the Prime Minister until the party chooses a new chief.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process.
His authority was then shaken by the surprise departure last month of his Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, Chrystia Freeland. Across the country, Trudeau's resignation did not surprise. Trudeau's Liberals are trailing badly in the polls to the opposition Conservatives.
This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Trudeau took office in November 2015 with a message of hope and sunny ways and won re-election twice. But his popularity started dipping 2 years ago as prices of groceries and housing rose in the post-COVID period and his fortunes never recovered. Canadian media have tipped Freeland as a possible Liberal leader. Trudeau has received permission from Canada's Governor-General to suspend all parliamentary business until March 24. That could give the Liberals time to choose a new leader while restricting the opposition's chances to bring a vote of no confidence. Bureau Report, TD India.
And now let's take a look at the timeline of key events tracking Justin Trudeau's tenure over nearly a decade in Canadian politics.
Here is a timeline of key events charting Trudeau's fortunes over nearly a decade in Canadian politics. Justin Trudeau won the leadership of the party in 2013. Trudeau's Liberals won a majority of seats in the federal election in 2015. In December 2017, Canada's Ethics Commissioner ruled Trudeau had broken conflict of interest rules by accepting a vacation, gifts and flights from the Aga Khan in 2016. In February 2019, former Justice Minister Jody Wilson-Raybould alleged that government officials improperly pressured her to assist SNC-Lavalin in evading a corruption trial. In August 2019, the Ethics Commissioner ruled Trudeau and his officials had breached some ethical rules. Trudeau took responsibility but refused to apologize. In 2019, shortly after election campaign began, photos emerged of Trudeau wearing blackface when he was younger. Trudeau apologized, saying his life of privilege had come with a blind spot. In August 2020, Finance Minister Bill Morneau resigned amid friction with Trudeau over how much funding was needed to help Canada recover from the pandemic. In September 2021, Trudeau triggered a national vote for September 20th, 2021, but was returned with a second successive minority. In June 2024, in a clear sign of the Liberals' growing unpopularity, the party lost one of its safest seats in a special election in Toronto. In September 2024, the New Democrats announced they would withdraw their automatic support. On December 16, 2024, Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland resigned after Trudeau asked her to take a lesser position, taking away one of his most loyal allies. On December 20th, 2024, a formal motion of no confidence was presented. And finally, on January 5, 2025, Trudeau announced to step down once the Liberal Party chooses a replacement. Bureau Report, TD India.
All right, and TD India's Anil Thomas joins us from Delhi on this. Well, Anil, Justin Trudeau's announcement that he would step down as Canada's Prime Minister was expected after he faced political struggles in recent months. Apparently, after 9 years of remaining in power, a lot of bickerings had begun since last year. What led to his downfall?
Good morning, Lipakshi. Well, this particular turmoil that Justin Trudeau in particular was facing within the Liberal Party was very much evident since the time, the last minister resigned in the midst of December. It was almost expected that this is coming. Firstly, his own ratings falling. His own ratings when he started off was as good as 63%, which has plummeted to a low of 30%. That's the first big reason, one could say. Secondly, his party going to polls in October is looking at public rating of close to 16 to 18%. That's one of the lows that Liberals have ever hit when it comes to, finding the mood of the people. Thirdly, international relations, especially with US and Trump's coming in and Trump indicating time and again on more tariffs, more sanctions on, especially from imports from Canada. Almost 25%, the rising cost of living, the inflation that's affecting internally Canada. So reasons, both external and internal, have led to the to rather led to a position where Trudeau was finding it difficult or untenable to continue in office. I think it's the right call that he's done, but then it's a call when even when he's resigned, he's taken a jab at the opposition. So indicating that the Liberals are not ready to go down with a fight. But I think now to find an interim leader before the elections in October this year looks very difficult, though there are 5 to 6 frontrunners within the party. All ministers who have worked, who are a part of the cabinet of Justin Trudeau. But the writing was on the wall for Trudeau, with both external and internal factors working against him. And I think it was high time. It was expected a day before. I think he's managed to delay it for 24 hours. But coming on Monday night Indian time, it was very much evident that the going was tough for him. He thought it is better to resign and maybe become the interim Prime Minister of Canada.
All right, Anil, as you said that finding a new leader will be very, very difficult. He will be the caretaker Prime Minister till his successor is chosen. Now, how will the Liberal Party choose a new leader, and what next is the big question right now?
Well, Lipakshi, that's where the catch-22 situation is. There are close to 6 contenders there, as I mentioned, various ministers who work with him. The front runner could be the minister who resigned in December. But having said that, one also needs to factor in the Trump era coming in the United States and, the fear of more tariffs being imposed on Canada, almost 25%. And I think that's going to break Canada's back in the first place. So one, you'll have to find a candidate who's very much who's having a good network where he can connect with Trump and his administration. That's the first lookout. Secondly, they have till March to find a candidate within themselves, the Liberal Party. And as I mentioned, 6 contenders, the numbers increasing with every passing day. It was 5 when Trudeau resigned. There's an addition to it, 6th a member joining, that Minister of Innovation also joining the race. So it becomes even more difficult for the simple reason now you'll have to choose a leader within yourself. One, that's the bigger question. The second is you are heading for elections in October. So whoever is leading the Liberal Party now, or whoever is the consensus candidate that the Liberal Party finds, he has to take the party to polls. And having, as I mentioned, having said that the numbers for the Liberals and Justin Trudeau falling, that's the reason Trudeau resigned. So the numbers suddenly won't go up for the Liberals in a span of, say, 6 months' time. So it's a very tough call that the party needs to make. There is a lot of rebellion within the Liberal Party itself, and that's something that's coming as a blessing for the opposition. That's the Conservatives. But we'll have to wait and watch who the Liberals first, pass the baton to, first lead the leadership, secondly become the Prime Minister, and then also go into elections with the same face. So it's a tough call that the Liberals need to make, but I think it will be something that is they cannot skip at this point of time with Trudeau resigning. You'll have to find a face that is acceptable, one, within the party, because there is a lot of rebellion within. Secondly, you'll have to make the person or the Prime Minister who's chosen to be liked by the people, because in 6 months' time you have elections. So it's a tough call, I think, but it's a bullet you will have to bite for the Liberals, at least at this point of time.
Really a tough call for the Liberals there. Thank you so much, Anil, for all those details. And moving on, Venezuelan opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez, who claims he won last year's presidential election against incumbent President Nicolas Maduro, met with US President Joe Biden on Monday. After the White House meeting, Gonzalez said he had a long, fruitful and cordial conversation with Biden. Gonzalez also said he is in contact with US President-elect Donald Trump and expects a close relationship with the incoming administration. Gonzalez's visit to Washington comes as part of a regional tour just days before President Nicolas Maduro is set to be inaugurated for his 3rd term after being recognized by Venezuela's top court and electoral authority as the winner of the election.
We had a long, fruitful and cordial conversation with President Biden and his team. It was a long conversation in which we addressed various aspects of the bilateral relationship. We were grateful for the support that the government of the United States have given for the democratic recovery of Venezuela. Our team is in contact with President Trump's team for some time now. We will continue on the same path because our relations will also be very close and beneficial for the relationship between Venezuela and the United States.
And moving on, a New York judge has rejected U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's request to delay sentencing set for later this week in his hush money case. Judge Juan Merchan had ruled last week that Trump's sentencing should go ahead despite his upcoming inauguration.
U.S. President-elect Donald Trump on Monday lost a bid to put off his sentencing on 10th January for his criminal conviction stemming from hush money paid to an adult film star. In their Monday filing, Trump lawyers asked the judge to hold off sentencing while the appeals play out. In a written ruling later on the day, the judge declined to push back Trump's January 10th sentencing. In scheduling Trump's sentencing for Friday, the judge noted last week that he was not inclined to send the US president-elect to jail. He wrote that a sentence of unconditional discharge, effectively putting a judgment of guilt on his record without a fine or a probation, would be the most practical approach given Trump's looming inauguration. The sentence would nevertheless see Trump entering the White House as a convicted felon. The judge said Trump may appear at his sentencing either in person or virtually. The case stemmed from a $130,000 payment Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, made to an adult film actor, Stormy Daniels, to keep her quiet about a sexual encounter she said she had with Trump, who denies it. After a 6-week trial, a jury found Trump guilty on 34 felony counts of falsifying records to mask the payment prior to the 2016 election. The hush money case made Trump the first US president to be charged with and convicted of a crime. Since the verdict, his lawyers have made 2 unsuccessful attempts to have the case tossed. Bureau Report, DD India.
Meanwhile, the U.S. Congress on Monday formally certified Republican President-elect Donald Trump's November election victory in a special session. Monday's ceremony in Congress officially validated the 2024 Electoral College results. The certification of the election results was accomplished in a brief formal ceremony during a joint session of the House of Representatives and Senate. It was presided over by Kamala Harris, acting in her vice presidential role as President of the Senate. After the number of Electoral College votes were read out from each state, Harris certified that Trump won the U.S. presidency. The certification is normally a symbol of America's commitment to the peaceful transfer of power, despite partisan disagreements. This constitutional procedure took place exactly 4 years after a mob of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol in a failed bid to block the certification of then-President Trump's 2020 loss to Democratic President Joe Biden. Well, Donald Trump confirmed on Monday that his eldest son, Don Jr., plans to visit Greenland 2 weeks after the U.S. president-elect reiterated his desire to obtain control over the autonomous Danish territory. In a social media post, Trump said that his son and various representatives will be traveling to Greenland. He further said that they will visit some of the most magnificent areas and sites without offering a specific time frame for the trip. Just before Christmas, Trump said that for purposes of national security and freedom throughout the world, the United States of America feels that the ownership and control of Greenland is an absolute necessity. The island's government responded that it was not for sale, echoing its response to similar statements from then-President Trump in 2019. And moving on, South Korean anti-graft investigators wait for a new court-ordered arrest warrant for impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol, who's failed a martial law bid threw the country into turmoil. Yoon has refused questioning 3 times over a bungled martial law decree last month and is holed up in his residence surrounded by hundreds of guards, preventing his arrest. It is likely a new warrant will be granted by the same court that issued the first order, which expired after 7 days, but investigators refused to disclose the duration of the new warrant they were seeking. He would become the first sitting president in South Korean history to be arrested. His lawyers repeatedly said the initial warrant was unlawful and illegal pledging to take further legal action against it. Well, after visiting South Korea, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is now in Japan at a time when President Joe Biden's blocking of a steel deal is straining the allies' warm ties. Biden has called nurturing U.S. alliances a top priority, but days before Blinken's trip, he blocked Nippon Steel's $14.9 billion takeover of long-struggling U.S. Steel, citing national security concerns. In a bid to pacify the situation thereafter, Blinken held a meeting with Japanese Foreign Minister Takeshi Iwaya this morning. He'll also meet other senior Japanese government officials to review the tremendous progress the U.S.-Japan alliance has made over the past few years. And Japan's Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel filed a lawsuit on Monday against the Biden administration's illegal interference in the transaction. The lawsuit alleges Biden prejudices the decision of the Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S., which scrutinizes foreign investments for national security risk, and violated the company's right to a fair review. With the lawsuit, the companies want a federal appeal court to overturn Biden's decision to secure another shot at approval through a fresh national security review unfettered by political influence.
This is the only effective option. That's why we embarked on the 2 trillion plus yen investment in addition to capital investment. We won't waver easily. Like I said before, there is no option or need for us to give up on this.
Well, the companies also filed a second lawsuit against rival bidder Cleveland Cliffs CLF and its CEO Lawrence Gonzalez and the USW's McCall for their illegal and coordinated actions aimed at preventing the deal. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Preparations are on full swing in Prayagraj for Mahakumbh as NDRF carries out mock drill and police intensify security in their bid to deal with any challenge. Pongal festival nearing, yet pot-making sees a slack in Manamadurai. And we'll give you all the weather updates from India and across the globe.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Nepakshi Khuranan. Moving on, an outbreak of human metapneumovirus in China has raised alarm globally. Several countries, including India, are monitoring the virus and its spread very closely. India's Health Secretary Punya Salila Srivastav chaired a meeting with states and union territories in a virtual mode on Monday to review the present situation of respiratory illnesses in the country and the status of public health measures for their management. During the meeting, it was reiterated that the data from Integrated Disease Surveillance Program does not indicate any unusual rise in influenza-like illness and severe acute respiratory infection cases anywhere in the country. This is also corroborated by the ICMR Sentinel surveillance data. Union Health Secretary emphasized that there is no cause of concern for the people from HMPV, which has been present globally since 2001. The Health Secretary advised states to strengthen and review the ILI SARI surveillance. She also stated that the country is well prepared for any potential surge in respiratory illness cases. And India's Home Minister Amit Shah will launch a Bharat Poll portal developed by Central Bureau of Investigation in New Delhi on Tuesday. The growing footprint of transnational crimes, including cybercrime, financial crimes, and online radicalization, necessitates rapid and real-time international assistance in criminal investigations. To address this challenge, CBI has developed Bharat Poll portal accessible through its official website, which will bring all the stakeholders on a common platform. Bharat Poll portal will significantly facilitate Indian law enforcement agencies, enabling real-time information sharing for faster access to international police assistance. Well, the portal will streamline the processing of all requests for international assistance through Interpol, including the issuance of red notices and other color-coded Interpol notices. And Home Minister Amit Shah will also present police medals to 35 CBI officers and officials who have been awarded the President's Police Medals for Distinguished Service and Union Home Minister's Medal for Excellence in Investigation. And some updates now on Mahakumbh Mela, the sacred congregation to be held in North India's Prayagraj from January 13th. Well, the National Disaster Response Force team carried out the mock drill as part of the Mahakumbh preparations. The drills conducted at Arail Ghat aim to make the devotees and refugees believe that agencies like NDRF are ready to deal with every kind of challenge in their service.
हमारे पास कुछ विशेष उपकरण हैं, उसके पास हमारे पास विशेष गोताखोर हैं, कुशल तैराक हैं, हमारे पास स्पीड बोट हैं और ये सिर्फ दिन में नहीं, रात में भी इस चुनौती से कैसे निपटा जाए उसके लिए भी हम तैयार हैं। उसके लिए हमारे पास अंडर वाटर टॉर्च है। कुल मिलाकर उद्देश्य एक ही है कि हमारे अंदर भी आत्मविश्वास आए और जो बाहर से श्रद्धालु और शरणार्थी आए उनके बीच में विश्वास आए कि इस तरीके की एजेंसियाँ, NDRF जैसी एजेंसियाँ आप सबकी सेवा के लिए यहाँ पर उपस्थित हैं और तत्पर हैं।
Also, the Uttar Pradesh police has heightened security measures for a safe and grand celebration. Personnel are checking all vehicles and identity cards of individuals entering the area. A bomb squad has also been stationed nearby for any eventualities. The Central Reserve Police Force, Provincial Armed Constabulary and State Police are all collaborating on this effort. Uttar Pradesh Police has also deployed thousands of AI-powered CCTVs, underwater drones and state-of-the-art facilities for visitors and the devotees. Mahakumbh is also set to prioritize cleanliness in unprecedented ways. For the first time, a QR code-based monitoring system will be employed to ensure the cleanliness of over 150,000 toilets across the fairgrounds. The system, managed by 1,500 volunteers, will allow real-time cleanliness assessments. Reports from the app will be sent directly to a control room, alerting the vendors to attend to any maintenance needs within minutes. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. The Indian Army has reached at Umrangso area of Assam state to rescue the trapped coal miners. Several people are feared trapped inside a coal mine, with exact figures still unknown. This comes after State's Chief Minister Himant Biswa Sarma sought the Army's assistance in the ongoing rescue operation. The relief task force comprises specialists like divers, sappers and other relevant personnel with the necessary equipment. ISRO's groundbreaking SpaceX mission aimed at demonstrating autonomous docking of 2 satellites in space has been rescheduled to the 9th of January. The decision follows the identification of an abort scenario during ground simulations, necessitating further safety validations. Once docked, the satellites will share power and be controlled by a single system. A mini marathon was organized by an art group gallery in the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu's Thoothukudi. The marathon was flagged off by Thoothukudi Mayor P. Jagan on Tuesday morning. It saw the participation of students from boys' school there. With the harvest festival, Pongal nearing, pot-making usually takes fast pace in India's Manumadurai in Tamil Nadu state. Manumadurai pottery, known for its geographical indication tag, this year, however, has seen a slack in the process owing to unfavorable weather conditions. This is threatening both the availability of traditional clay pots and the survival of a craft that has supported a generation of artisans. And now, from some weather updates from across the globe and from India. The Indian Meteorological Department has forecasted cold day conditions in isolated pockets of North India's Uttar Pradesh and Northwest Rajasthan today. According to the weather agency, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Himachal Pradesh and some parts of Uttar Pradesh are expected to witness very dense fog conditions during the night and early morning hours till Wednesday. The Weather Department has also predicted thunderstorms with hailstorms and lightning at isolated places over Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam and Meghalaya today. The IMD said that light to moderate rainfall is likely to prevail over northeastern states till tomorrow. The Met Department predicted that minimum temperatures are expected to fall by 2 to 4 degrees Celsius over the western Himalayan region during the next 2 days. Light rain and snowfall was also observed at isolated places in higher reaches of Himachal Pradesh on Monday. The Weather Office has predicted dry weather across the state in the coming days till January 10th. However, light rain or snowfall is likely at isolated places on January 11th. Dense fog is likely at isolated places in plain areas today and tomorrow. Also, Kashmir Valley has received a fresh snowfall, bringing down the mercury further and also leading to the delay in flight operations from Srinagar International Airport. The Meteorological Centre in Srinagar has said that the weather conditions would remain generally dry from Tuesday till Friday, while next 2 days there is a possibility of light rain in plains of Jammu and snow at isolated places to scattered places. Thereafter, the weather would remain generally dry. And for more, we have Muskan joining us from Himachal and Shabida joining us from Srinagar. Well, Muskan, with temperatures dropping and snowfall expected, how are the weather conditions there in Himachal as of now?
Lipakshi, Himachal Pradesh has once again witnessed a fresh spell of snowfall and rainfall yesterday, and the higher peaks of the state is covered with the snow sheet right now. And if I'm talking about snowfall, the areas like Kufri, Fagu, Shimla, Narkanda also witnessed the fresh snowfall yesterday. Although the routes were clear, the newly constructed roads were open, but in the higher regions of Lahaul, Spiti, Kinnaur and Kalpa and Spiti, and especially the Atal Tunnel Rohtang, which is closed right now. Nobody can go through across the tunnel, and especially the tourists which are being advised not to go through the areas which has received a high, very dense snowfall yesterday. So the yesterday's snowfall has turned out to the blessing. The farmers are happy, the localites are very happy, and tourists are flocking towards the state right now. Although the temperature is not that low right now, currently Shimla is experiencing a very clear weather, but the higher peaks of state are still under a cold spell.
Shabir, you tell us, Kashmir Valley has also received a fresh snowfall, bringing down the mercury even further. What's the scene right there, and how is the weather right now?
Yeah, the Kashmir is, like a wintry wonderland right now, because on Sunday we received a fresh snowfall, which turned, Kashmir into a, honeymoon, destination for tourists and a wonderland for travelers and winter enthusiasts. The tourist places like Gulmarg and Sonmarg and Pahalgam received, moderate to heavy snowfall, and tourists are really happy there, enjoying. And Kashmir overall is now facing a dry spell, because Met has predicted that from today to 10th of January, there will be a dry weather, because no rainfall or snowfall is expected in these days. This has also led to the normalization of the temperature, because we witnessed Srinagar 0.5 degrees yesterday. So overall there is a slight change in temperature, but normally it is sub-zero, and freezing of water, pipes and, icy road conditions do lead to some difficulties. But as I already said, that the winterly wonderland Kashmir is, giving a happy moment and happy time for tourists and travelers.
All right, happy moment for the tourists there. Muskan, you tell us, how are the tourists being managed there in Himachal? Are they facing any problems because of the cold temperatures?
Lipakshi, there is no such problems across the state right now because of the snowfall. But there are some roads which are being closed right now. Especially, I told you, like the Rohtang tunnel is closed for the tourists, so they cannot go through the tunnel. And they are a bit disappointed because they were expecting more snowfall. And these areas have received much higher snowfall than the Shimla, if I'm talking about Shimla town. But the district like Manali and Lahaul Spiti have received much higher snowfall. But tourists are very happy that they got to see the snowfall again, and they are coming in a very high number. And according to IMD, the weather will be the same for the next few days, so there will be chances of another snowfall.
All right, so happy days for the tourists there as well. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us and giving us those details. And moving on, the first major winter storm of the new year swept into the U.S. mid-Atlantic states on Monday, closing down federal offices and public schools in Washington, D.C. The U.S. National Weather Service said about 5 inches of snow had fallen in the nation's capital by 8 a.m. on Monday, with up to 8 inches in some surrounding areas of Maryland and Virginia. The imposing U.S. Capitol building was barely visible in the snow, and the weather brought early morning commute to a standstill. Streets remained largely empty, barring a few pedestrians who shuffled in the ankle-deep snow. The storm also left more than 330,000 homes and businesses in the central and southern U.S. without power on Monday. Well, the governors in several states, including Kansas, Kentucky, Arkansas, West Virginia, and Maryland, have declared states of emergency. Many flights within, into and out of the United States had been cancelled or delayed due to the weather conditions. The unusually cold temperatures are expected to linger for the rest of the week. And still to come, DD India News Hour. The U.S. Federal Reserve's top banking regulator, Michelle Barr, announces early resignation. In sports, Indian contingent is all set to compete at the Malaysia Open Badminton Tournament starting from today. And it's raining teddy bears. Stay with us to know how and where.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and on to some business news now. The U.S. Federal Reserve's top banking regulator, Michelle Barr, has announced his early resignation on Monday. Barr, the Fed's vice chair for banking supervision, said in a statement that he would step down from his management role by February 28th at the latest, around 18 months before his term was set to expire in July 2026. Barr, who was nominated by outgoing President Joe Biden, said he will remain as a Federal Reserve governor, a role that gives him a permanent vote on the U.S. Central Bank's powerful interest rate setting committee. His early exit now clears the way for Trump, who will be sworn in on January 20th to appoint an entirely fresh slate of banking regulators. And moving on, Bangladesh's GDP growth dropped sharply to 1.81% in the first quarter of the current fiscal year, down from 6.04% during the same period last year. According to the Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics data, this is the slowest expansion in over 3.5 years as political turmoil affected economic activity in the country. In the first quarter of the current fiscal year, agricultural output grew by just 0.16%, down from 0.35% last year. The manufacturing sector saw a sharp decline, with growth dropping from 8.22% in financial year 24 to 2.13% in financial year 25. The services sector, a key part of the economy, grew by 1.54% compared to 5.07% the previous year. Bangladesh experienced political turmoil and law and order crisis during the periods of July to September months in 2024, which resulted in low business confidence. Well, you're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for some sports news. India's HS Pranoy will face Canada's Brian Yang in his opening match at the Malaysia Open on Tuesday. This is the first time since Paris Olympics that Pranoy will return to the court. Pranoy has not been in action since his exit at the hands of compatriot Lakshya Sen at Paris. Sen will be up against Taiwan's Chi Yu Chen in the opening round of the tournament. Meanwhile, in the men's doubles event, India's sole representatives will be Satwik and Chirag. The duo will take on Chinese Taipei's Qi Tang and MC Liu in their first round match on Wednesday. And the first Grand Slam of the year, Australia Open, is just around the corner, and there are definitely many women players to watch out for at the tournament. With Aryna Sabalenka, who will be entering as hot favourite to Coco Gauff, the stage is all set for the Grand Slam. Here's a report.
World number 1 Aryna Sabalenka is going to be the hot favourite for another successful summer in Australia. The 26-year-old is bidding to become the first woman to lift 3 straight Australian Open trophies since Swiss Martina Hingis won from 1997 to 1999. Other leading women in the tournament will be 5-time Grand Slam champion Iga Swiatek, who has traditionally struggled to hit the ground running at the tournament, with her best result a semi-final in 2022. Right on her heels is American Coco Gauff, who defeated Swiatek at the United Cup and has now racked up consecutive victories over the pole. Italian Jasmine Paolini will be hoping to keep her momentum going from a breakthrough 2024. Meanwhile, last year's finalist Zheng Qinwen also enjoyed a successful campaign, claiming the Paris Olympics gold medal and WTA 2 titles in Tokyo and Palermo. There's a strong American contingent in the draw, led by world number 7 Jessica Pegula, world number 8 Emma Navarro, and world number 11 Danielle Collins. The Australian Open tournament will begin from January 12th. Sports Desk, DD India.
And before we wrap up, let's show you some reigning teddy bears as well as cats and dogs during the Hershey Bears annual teddy bear toss in the American Hockey League. The popular tradition sees fans throw stuffed animals onto the ice following the team's first goal of the game. The stuffed animals will now be donated to over 35 local charities as part of the club's Hershey Bears Cares program.
Mike Scarbosa makes the fur fly. It's teddy bear toss bedlam in Hershey.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. Well, we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.